welcome to another day. Yeah, ain't she a beauty? But what we're doing has nothing to do with this today. We're actually outside. It's a nice day for late fall. It's a beautiful day for late fall, let me tell you. I should actually be out on one of these guys here, sucking up them last days of the season, but yeah, we got bigger and better things to do, I guess. Better in the sense of it's long term. Once we build this, it'll be around for hopefully 100 years. Can't say that about every house I've ever built, the way people treat them, I'm telling you. But we've gone ahead and got our final coat of wax on. I am using a release agent. I don't know what it's, HPV, isn't that a venereal disease? I don't know what that's called. It's the alcohol and basically water and plastic, which will be sprayed on here eventually after I get this layer off and let it set for 20-30 minutes, as they said. These layers really take forever. This is not really a big piece, but you have to do a layer and then, you know, let it set up, and that's 15-20 minutes. Then buff it off, then wait 35 minutes to 45 minutes, do another layer, you know. I mean, every layer takes an hour. I mean, this thing is as big as a bathtub, you know, so and it shouldn't be taking that long, but it does, since we have product working time. I did a couple last night after it got dark pretty much, and it was quite chilly out here, but I got the first coat off and then I decided, what the hell, put another coat on and just leave it. So I got another coat on, and then I got another coat on this morning, and now I've got this last coat on this afternoon. Like I said though, I have to get all of this off. Then I have to start filling some holes with some plumber's putty. Yeah, that's what I'm using. That's what I got. It ain't gonna be permanent, you know. I see people use Bondo and stuff, and it's like, absolutely not am I gonna be sanding on this, because if I am, I'm pretty much refinishing it and repainting it. So that defeats the purpose of using all the releases and stuff. But lots to do. Gotta get to work. All right, we're just finished prepping everything up before we go spraying our release agent. Yeah, it's a little half-ass. I mean, we're just using some aluminum tape and some cardboard. I just want to add another inch to it, you know. Like I said, I know that deck's about 2 inches lower. Motorbox has a little playroom, as long as you don't use a super tall intake and a super tall air cleaner. That's really all I need. And, you know, I just figured this is going to be a one-off deal anyway. So I don't have any, you know, problems fixing the mold. You know, I mean, I don't want to do anything really semi-permanent to this. I mean, it has its issues already. I mean, it's been 12 years since I've actually redid this boat. And yeah, it's got 12 years of use. I mean, how many times have I walked across the darn thing when I shouldn't be honest? So I'm really trying to avoid doing damage, along with, you know, I don't want to fix what's wrong with it, because if I start fixing it, I'm going to have to fix everything, and that means I'm going to have to repaint it, and I might as well just stop this project over here, this black boats project, and just go right into my boat. And I'm not ready to do that yet. So as I said though, I used a little aluminum tape, some cardboard, and plumber's putty to fill the holes that I needed to fill. Yeah, and as I said, I don't know what's up with that rust marks up there. I mean, that's stainless steel, and it left a rust mark for some reason, but there's no rust on the stainless steel. Figure that out. But that's where we're at. We got our plastic down. We got our hose out already. We got our sprayer out. We're gonna go ahead and do some spraying. Well, it's been a day, that's for sure. Not really sure what's going on here. I sprayed, and this happened. And that was my light misting. It did that. So I did another spraying, and it just kind of did it again. So I said the hell with it, and I got out a brush, and I just decided I was going to brush it on. it's got to be covered. I mean, it's just no other way. Either that or something ain't sticking to it, which is underneath of it. I'm thinking the wax probably has some sort of adverse reaction to it or something. I don't know. But either way, it's almost dark. I went ahead and I built myself a little lean-to shanty over top of it in case we do get a little sprinkler or something. It is water soluble, so I really don't want it to melt and run off onto the driveway after putting it on for the last 5.5, 6 hours. And of course it's a nice fall evening, so I have my little space heater going underneath of here. Yeah. So we're going to try to keep it up above 70 for at least another couple hours. And I mean, it's not too bad right now. I mean, it is probably about 70 as it is. It's not supposed to get too bad overnight, 55, 58, something like that. I mean, my whole goal is just to get the mold made. And if that's where I get to, that's where I get to. And to be honest, as soon as I do get the mold made, everything stops anyway. And I reassemble this guy and get it back in my boat. I really don't want to leave a motor with just a tarp over top of it for the whole winter. That's kind of what happens with the Biesmeyer. And it's something I have to be very cautious about all winter long. I really don't want to have the same issue with my 19. But that's about all tonight. Tomorrow we will, I guess we'll start off first thing in the morning with gel coat, then work from there. See ya. Welcome to another day. Yeah, another day of failure. I don't know what the is happening here. I really don't even care at this point. None of this is dry. It's all friggin' wet. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just dumbfounded. I mean, some of it's stuck, some of it didn't, some of it's rolled. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I really don't. All I know is all of this has to come off. And it all has to be reapplied again. In which case, it's really closing my window on whether I'm going to be able to get this done or not. I'll see y'all in a second. We scrubbed everything off. We towel dried everything down. And then I went ahead and I brush coated a light coat and then a very heavy coat. After the light coat dried for, I don't know, 45 minutes. Still getting minor these things. Still. It's got to be the wax that's doing that, and if that's the case, then I take it that it'll release from the friggin' fiberglass too. So, fingers are crossed. Just giving it a little more time to dry up. And when it's supposed to give it, 45 minutes to an hour for the last time. It's already dried to the touch. Everything's good. And I'm about to start putting some gel coat on here. It's against my better judgment, but it's got to be done. Got my little space heater down there. I'm going to warm it from the inside and just try to keep it warm as long as I can. It's got to be 80 degrees out here today. It's a beautiful day. It's almost ready to go, and as I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a layer of gel coat on top and then another layer of gel coat after that. It's a chemical reaction. It's not a drying thing. So from what I understand, you can do gel coat in any temperature. But if it's anything like fiberglass, it'll take forever if it's cold. And I mean forever. So I'd like to get one on. They say 15-20 minutes as long as your fingerprint don't transfer. Go ahead with the second one. And then the same thing if you want to start with glass right on top of that. And I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to get to that point today. I'm already like 2 days behind schedule out of like a 5-day schedule. So, I mean, yeah, this is not turning out too great. But as I said, we're moving on. Okay, we've gone ahead and got our second layer of gel coat on. It's set up to the touch, pretty close. I'm still going to give it another 5 or 10 to go. And like I said, it's a chemical reaction, so it really doesn't matter if I go right over top of it or not. And since I didn't add wax to it, it's meant to go right over top of, but I do want it to firm up a little bit, you know, so. But as I said, it's pretty dry to the touch. No fingerprints or anything like that, so I think I'm pretty set. I went over and cut up a bunch of fiberglass. I said we want to get at least one layer on here tonight, just in case it rains or whatever. The fiberglass won't care. Just having the gel coat on is actually a plus. I mean, I don't want it to get wet, but at the same time, I can't put anything over it either, because plastic or anything will stick to it. So just a few more minutes and I'm getting out some fiberglass. It's going to solve this issue right now. Yeah, Billy Idol's back. I told you, he is per capita the most played artist on all stations. It's insane how much Billy Idol gets played on all radio. Top 40, classic rock, the hard rock stations, it don't matter what it is. They all play Billy Idol. And when you add them all together, yeah, they play a lot of Billy Idol. Okay, we are officially one layer, and in a lot of places we actually have 2 layers of 1.25 ounces or 1.5 ounces or whatever it is. I'm not even sure. It's the thicker of the 2. I know one thing. One layer of it. I had one layer of it. I wet it out and I didn't use it, and I just let it sit off to the side, and you could stand on it. I mean, but I plan on doing 2 layers, so we are just kind of letting it kick off a little bit here now, because I finally got to a point where I could actually stop for a few minutes and clean up a little bit of, you know, the brushes. My gloves were like fur and all that good stuff. And of course, if it gets rained on now, it's good. I mean, it's fine. So we're just going to leave this like it is for a few minutes. As I said, we're going to finish cleaning up and hopefully get to put a little bit more on here. I'm going to try to get 2 layers on the whole thing, so that way tomorrow I can come back and actually just, you know, do all the corners and stuff like that to kind of firm it up. I mean, I'm not making the mold of the gods here. I mean, this is a one-time pop and that's it. And then trust me, it probably is going to get a sawzall right down the middle and end up in a trash can. I just don't have the space to keep something like that anyway. And it's the only 19 that I know of that's actually missing a motor box, so it'd be useless to keep it around. So I'm not going to be making a huge, thick, you know, 3/4 inch glass just so I can pop, you know, piece after piece out of it. If I have to prop it up with trash cans on both sides to hold it together, if I have to build a wood frame to hold it together until I can actually get it popped, yeah, whatever it takes. But I'll be honest with you, I'm just jonesing to get this thing off of my motor box. Right? It's just, I'm so afraid something's going to go wrong here, and there's still huge chances. So as I said, I'm going to let things set up for a few minutes here, and I'm going to go clean up some things, and then maybe try to give it a second run here until it gets dark, and that way I don't have to worry about cleaning up everything in the dark. Now, I got to tell you, I really do love doing this fiberglass in this weather. It is so much nicer than when we were doing it and it was 105 degrees out in here. But the problem is also the days are so much shorter, and like I said, I'm on a time schedule. I know it's not going to stay like this for long, because it already has been pretty nasty out. So, but I've got 2 layers on everything, 3 layers on some areas already. It's not getting extremely hot either, which is really a good thing. I don't want it to like get super hot and like start scorching my motor cover. I mean, if the release agent would have been right when we came out here this morning, it would have been a whole different day. But I'm happy we are where we are. We'll see how happy I am when I actually go to try to take it off. But as I said, we're gonna let it set up overnight here. It can get wet, worst case scenario. I mean, they're not calling for any rain, but you know, worst case scenario if it does rain. What stud is done, tomorrow we'll move along. We'll see you then. Welcome to another day. We're just out here looking over our box. Looks pretty darn good. A few things dropped on it overnight, but that won't hurt nothing. I got ahead, I did a little sanding around my bottom edges and things like that, where I'm going to do a little reinforcing I figure because of the way the bottom edge, it kind of concaves a little bit here. I want to get another layer on the outside of it as flat as possible. That way, when I do some sanding on the inside, like I said, I don't have no problems fixing the mold if I have to. In which case, I already assume I have to. But you know what assume means. Yeah, that's our goal for today, is to get this reinforced. I guess after that sets up, we can maybe attempt to get the box out of the mold. That was a job right there. Honestly, about 2 hours. 2 hours plus, to be honest. Yeah, wedges everywhere. Pull, pull, pull. I am so lucky that I did not make this like a 1/4 inch thick or 3/8 of an inch thick and make this a super solid mold, because I would have never, ever got this thing out. So, yeah, we've got it popped. Hey, it did come off. And from what I see so far, it doesn't look like it damaged anything. But I haven't flipped it over yet either. And I had to use like a 2x3 underneath it here to actually get this separated. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I got to make another one and take it out of the same mold. As you can see, the agent's there. I mean, it's got such a shape to it that it creates almost a vacuum all by itself. And yeah, it just wants to stay. I knew I had to actually do some repairs to this thing. I was looking around here just a second. I mean, this is like my first look also, which is also weird. Look, there's a release agent. And actually left the print right on the actual mold itself. Isn't that wild? But I know I have stuff to fix. I gotta, you know, I know where my line is right here, and then I gotta add, you know, 1 1/4 inches to it, which that's all this was for. I mean, I plan on fixing it with just a little bit of poly and some Cabosil, and then maybe a little rage. Do it like body work. I mean, it's not going to be perfect either, because when it comes out of the mold, it also will not be perfect. So, but Jack's here. I'm going to go ahead and grab him real quick, and we're going to flip this thing out of here and onto these buckets. Welcome to a new day. Notice we didn't say another day, because we're still in the same day here, but it's a new day. I mean, this is a new day for me. And what I mean by that is you know, you feel like at some point you just are moving backwards. And as I'm putting layers of crap all over my motor box and then throwing fiberglass on top of that, you know, it was just like, God, I'm moving backwards, I'm moving backwards. As even I was taking this one apart and even taking it out of the boat, I felt I'm moving backwards, I'm moving backwards. Well, we're done. We're moving forward from this point. And the only way we were going to move forward is doing what we did. So it had to have been moving forward. It just felt like we were moving backwards. And we've got our motor box out of our mold. Mold is a little stronger than I thought it was. Yeah, it's going to be fine. There's no problem there. I do have some tweaking to do, some things to fix. Like, I'm not sure how these vents are going to be in this box here. So I'm just going to go ahead and fix it to where it's nice and flat. And then I can install any vent I happen to get. Now, my vents are cut out like this. But, you know, who knows if I'll be able to find those exact vents again. And, you know, I mean, it'd be kind of a drag to pop a mold out and have these vents already kind of like in it and have to fix them. So it'll be really easy to fix them in this mold. And as I said, I need to make it 1 1/4 inch taller, which I know where my lines are because they left lines in the actual gel coat. everything did. I mean, this is where the tape was, and this is where it ended, and this is the 1.25" I added. So yeah, it did have to take some damage also to get it apart. I mean, as you can see, we had to break our corner here along this edge, and we had to break that, which, you know, as I said, this is going to be a one-time mold. I'm not really sure how they would get theirs out. I figure they just wax them and then they just pop out. I mean, somebody has to tell me. I don't know. I've never done a boat before, so. And I'm afraid just to use the wax. I mean, it's just, you know, yeah, I don't know. I just have to use a mold release of some kind. And it was probably what was actually sticking the motor box in the mold. So, you know, they probably just lift theirs out, and it's like, yep, molded in space. Now, everything isn't perfect in race boat land, that's for sure. And what I mean by that is I don't know whether it's the lighting out here. I probably think it is. It looks like there's some little bit of browning that may have happened, which it's probably the lighting. I mean, I'll be honest with you. But I am a little concerned, you know, it's like, especially around the edges. But we also suffered a little bit of damage here, as you can see. These scuff marks are what that 2x3 had to do. You can see it came in all the way into here. Now, I haven't so much as washed it because I do have to strip all this aluminum tape off, which comes off real nice. I mean, it's not like it's pulling paint or anything. And right here, I suffered some paint damage. Right there it's been chipped. Not sure how that even happened, but to be honest, if that's all there is, which so far that's all I've found, we've come out pretty unscathed. As I said, hopefully this stuff will come off. I'm pretty sure that will. Not really sure about that. It may actually require a little wet sanding. But as I said, at least I don't have to repaint the thing. You know, I really don't want to repaint this and then just stick it back into this boat. I mean, it's like repainting the hood of your car. You know, unless the whole car has been painted, you just got a brand new hood on a car that's 5 or 6 years old. It looks just odd. So, but that's where we are. We got a lot of cleaning to do, and then I have to actually reassemble this thing. All right, we got everything scrubbed up. It's pretty much what I wanted to get done for the night before it got dark. The motor box came out pretty good, and it didn't suffer too much damage. Most of it scrubbed off. There's a little place right here I'm going to compound tomorrow and see if it's something can come back to life a little bit. I ain't going to scrub off that chip, so I started filling it in with a little white paint. Tomorrow I'll give it a couple more layers, and then we'll hit it with a little wet sanding. As I said, I got to put this whole thing together, and that's my first priority. So probably going to compound the top and then wax part of it also, of course, after compounding. It had another chip over there on the side where something fell into it a couple of years ago. I mean, it was about the same size too. It was a tiny little thing, but I'm working on both of them at the same time. So we'll play with that again tomorrow. And I got my mold all cleaned up. Yeah, it looks a little rough, but as I said, it's something to work with. It's a million foot plus to work with for me. I know where my lines are, where it originally was. As I said before, it left actually a mark on the fiberglass or the gel coat that's on the outside. I knew I missed this. I saw it when I was pulling this down to try to straighten it out, and when I did, I actually pulled it off of that, and I forgot to go back over the roller and hit that. But nothing a little Bondo won't fix, or Rage in my case. And yeah, we'll get it cut down, get it a little more sized up about the size it needs to be. Go ahead and fix the bottom where it's been chunked up a little bit. You know, there's a lot of things to do, but this is something I can do now. Got a nice day, I can come out and do it. Got a bad day, oh well, forget about it. It's not like I'm out here with release agents and everything else that we're using on this deal here to try to get this mold made. I mean, and we have layers, and we had to do the layers in succession. And you know, you don't want your gel coat to get wet, even though it probably wouldn't hurt it, but you don't want it to, you know. You definitely don't want your release agent to get wet, because it's just, you know, it's going to wash off like it basically does, which is real nice. That's a nice feature, I gotta say. I like that. But the adhesive of it sticking to the two, yeah, that leaves a little bit to be desired. but this mold will not be good enough to actually just wax and go ahead and install. So we'll be doing it again. Lucky enough, as I said, it's on a one-off deal. If I have to, I'll split this dog right down the middle. You know, as I said, the main problem with this whole boat has been the pieces that have been missing. I mean, I built seats just by taking some measurements off of them and looking at them. And it's pretty much, I couldn't do any molding or anything like that. I'd have to take my inner liner out and my deck off, and that's not going to happen. So yeah, we actually have something here now that, you know, as I said, it can sit around and we can fix it, then we can fix it some more, and then we can, you know, do part of it, do all of it, do none of it. I mean, it doesn't matter, because like I said, now that this is back in the boat, I'm happy. I'm totally happy, because we're back to making progress, and I actually have the motor box mold now, which, this is awesome. But that's about as far as I'm getting tonight. I will see you all tomorrow. Welcome to another day where I'm not the only one grinding out here today. Neighbors having some work done or something, I'm not really sure. It is funny though, I will tell you. The prior owners had contractors in that house 24/7. The prior owners before them had contractors in that house that seemed like 24/7. New people have been here a few months. It's the first contractor I've seen show up, but there has to be like a red dot on every contractor's map around the tri-state area. It's just amazing. I mean, there has to have been, I don't know, between the insurance work and everything else that's happened to that house, hundreds, if not close to $1 million worth of work. Okay, let's get back to reality here. I've got my buffer out, of course. I'm going to use a little compound to do the top. After it sat out overnight and dried out, it has a few little scratches here and there that I can still see. So I'm going to compound them out. As I said, I mean, it is 12 years old. It has been around for a while. It's taken its damage, so it's not going to be perfect. As I said, it will be perfect the next time I decide to redo my boat. But today is the whole objective, because it's pretty cool out here and it looks like they're calling for rain. We couldn't have got this done any sooner, let me tell you. Whew, well, it's borderline right on, because I mean, it's only 68 degrees out here today. Yeah, and this is still one of the warmer days. Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten much of the fiberglass done in 60-degree weather. It was really nice to have a couple of those high 70s, low 80 days. But now we have to clean up the mess, so to speak, and get my motor box put back together and hopefully put back in my boat before the day is out. If it don't rain. We don't know. We're playing everything by ear. But like I said yesterday, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not like we have a giant project that all has to happen at one time. That project is done. And for that matter, I think all of those projects are done from now on. I mean, yeah, I have to set a motor, but it has to be done, you know, without letting it rain into the intake or something. But I mean, how hard is that? Matter of fact, I'll be honest with you, I've started and placed more motors in the rain than I think have not in the rain. You know, so I mean, it's just weird. But that's where we're at today. We got some assembly to do. You know, it's just catching back up where we were a week ago. But we also have that piece sitting over there now. Well, like I said, now we're going forward. Now we even look like we're going forward. Okay, we've gone ahead and got all of our pieces put back on our motor cover. And, well, I should say about 90% of them. Still got the cushion to put on. Got to screw it down, all that good stuff. It did suffer some minor damage, I will say again. I'll just keep repeating myself, I guess. But I'm so thankful this isn't like a brand new piece that I'm making a mold off of. Because I really can't see how it would, yeah, you wouldn't damage it in any way, shape, or form doing that. But as I said, it's all put back together. I'm going to get ready to drop it in the boat. It's a good thing too. They're calling for rain later on this evening and most of the day tomorrow. So it'd be a nice thing to have this out of the driveway and the space to actually move this mold down. So like if it's getting a little breezy as it is now, I don't want this thing to flop over and take part of the boat paint with it. So yeah, this is as I said, this is progress, because when this goes back in the Wilt boat and I've got that piece still sitting over here, it's like magic, you know. Just trick took a week and a half to do. And there we go, all back in its home. Snug as a bug. Yeah, it's went right back in like it never came out, honestly. It was a pleasure. I know it doesn't always seem to work out that way. I think there is a little discolorization in the clear coat, but who knows? It may just be the wax. And I don't know. As I said, we'll look at it this spring when this job hopefully is over and we can move on to other things. And one of the ones I wanted to do was, first I need to fix the Beesmeyer. That's just a paint issue, which was not a big deal. And then I wanted to attack this again, along with a couple projects I want to do on this guy over here, like my intakes that have been sitting around. If I could have magically snapped my fingers and had it done, I would have 10 days ago, but now it's all behind us. And we have the mold sitting over in the driveway, which, along with a lot of other stuff I have to clean up yet. And my motor box is back in my boat. I'm going to put my cover back on and see if there's anything left to do today. Well, it's all put away for now. And we got this thing down and we got it covered up because we really don't want it filling up with water, especially since we went ahead and figured out where all our lines are going to be and all that good stuff. And we don't want all the tape just to melt and fall off if it happens to rain for the next 12-14 hours, because I already felt a couple drops. So it's perfect timing to call it a day. We'll see ya. We decided that we're going to go with I think there's a cricket in my garage door. What you doing, big ass bird? Ruff! Alright, one more time. That boat is distracting. Knew somebody would come out today. Let's do this again. With feel! Alright, here we go. I didn't want to do it to begin with. So you add that to I don't want to do it now with I didn't want to do it with the. Let's do that again. I'm not making the mold Taj Mold Mahal. I mean, I'm not making mold Mahal here. I mean, I'm not going to have like 300 things getting popped out of here. All right, we're going to have to do that part again.